Hello everyone. Thought I left? No, I'm back. We are going to go over Western Euros, so obviously competition's already been and done. We're going to go over a little recap because a lot has happened. Where do I even get started? So, obviously where I last left you off, I had just done a little shop from Tesco, getting some bits and bobs for competition, and then basically started my taper, which was my 1 week out. So didn't really do anything too exciting. Actually, everything moved pretty standard as expected. Squats moved as they did, bench moved as it did, deadlifts felt okay, felt good, we felt confident. Got on the plane, quite a late flight. I think it was around about, oh no, it wasn't a late flight, it was around about 5 o'clock, but I got to Helsinki quite late. I was tired, but we move. So got to Helsinki, and I found out last minute, alongside some of the other Team GB athletes, that we had been moved to a different hotel. So we got moved to a different hotel last minute, and we were like, okay, where the hell is it? Thankfully, it was very close, and there was a shuttle bus that would take us from airport to hotel. So it was around about 11 o'clock at night, very tired, wanted to sleep, got in, ate a bit of food because I was weighing in pretty light. I think at this point I was literally teetering between 63.4 and like 63 on the dot. So I thought, you know what, let's play it safe. I've got to go on a flight, and sometimes I hold a little bit of water. So got on the flight, did all that, arrived, ate some food, went to sleep. Woke up the next day, had a little coffee, had some breakfast, was good stuff. Tried my first karelian pastry. Tried my first one of those. Banging. So good. Who'd have thought I would have such an affinity for Finnish food? So the lighting in here is crazy, but we are about to enter the shopping portion of the trip. So I need to get some bits and bobs for comp day. So snacks, food to actual food to eat. I'm gonna see what a Finnish supermarket looks like. Very excited. Anyway, I'm currently in the toilet right now because, well, I needed to go to the toilet, but also I don't really want to whip out my camera and start talking to it in the middle of a coffee shop. But yeah, we're about to check out a Finnish supermarket and see what bits and bobs we can get. Currently in a Finnish supermarket. I have no idea what this one's called, but who'd have thought Finland is so good at providing for like health, sports stuff, right? In the UK we don't have stuff like this, but let me show you. This whole wall is literally all like protein, creatine, EAAs, like whey protein, clear whey, like EA, literally, like, what's going on here? Sick. This is absolutely sick. Like, basically, if anyone goes gym, this is your absolute dream. Creatine everywhere, protein powder everywhere. Taking a look at this. What is this? This is multi-fruit isotonic drink. Maybe I'll even get that for post-competition. It's got energy gels. So good. I know this sounds like, oh my god, is this the first time you've ever been in a supermarket, Suzanne? But we just don't have this stuff available in the supermarket in the UK, or it's not as widely available. Like, you'd really have to hunt down and look for it, and most of the time this is the type of stuff you'd have to like order online, but it's just here in the shop. That's sick. Like electrolytes. So good. Anyway, I'm gonna carry on. I'm gonna go look at stuff. So, you know, in the supermarket, looking at some of the milks because I've got some tea for my room, and what do we find? Big cow. Big cow in the supermarket. Yes. Insane. The amount of shit that was in there that was just like, it's just not available like that in the UK. There just isn't. After I got my bits and bobs from the shop, it was time to just chill, rest, relax. To be fair, I was competing the next day. So I arrived on Wednesday, very late. Thursday, just chilling, getting some bits and bobs, shopping. Friday, that was game day. That was competition day. So, woke up on the Friday, pretty light. I woke up 62.3, so quite comfortable. Was able to have a little bit of breakfast, and breakfast I had, and guess what? I had Karelian pies. So had that, little coffee, pretty chill, pretty standard stuff. Weigh-in was only really at like 4 p.m. And breakfast stopped at like 9:30 a.m. So I had to be up for that because I did not want to be hungry. Got on the bus because there was a shuttle bus that was taking us to the venue. And then we started weighing in. So got there at about 4 and I weighed in. You'll never guess what I weighed in as. I was the first person to weigh in, and I weighed in legit 61.9, which was way lighter than I thought. I thought, I've had some breakfast. I weighed 62.3, maybe I'm seeing like 62.7 when I weigh in. No, 61.9. Not really what I wanted. My goal is to weigh in as heavy as possible because I'm not out here trying to be super, super light. Like, I fit into the category quite nice. There's no need for me to be sitting that light. So, could have been the scale. Sometimes comp scales just weigh you a little bit lighter, but I think I could have done with a little bit more food on the day. So, weighed in, fantastic. Started warming up. Warm-ups felt good. Start off with, well, obviously for powerlifting, we start off with squats. Squats went well. Last warm-up flew, as expected. Onto platform, first attempt, 155. Moved beautiful, fantastic. Set me up nicely for 162.5. Now, don't get me wrong, in the moment I'll be doing it, I was like, I could probably do 165. I think I could just jump to 165. Did the sensible thing, hit 162 and opted to go for a safe jump. 162 moved very well, by the way. 162 moved beautifully. Opted for a safe jump to 167.5. Now, I know that's technically, on paper, that's like a 5 kilo PB. In this prep, that's technically a little chip, a little 2.5 PB. I think I was good for 170 on the day, but knowing what my squat is like, I tend to hit a wall quite fast, which is foreshadowing for the other two lifts. I've had competitions where I've absolutely grinded my third attempt and my deadlift has really suffered for it. So went for 167, moved beautifully. Definitely had more in me, but I digress. Squats were done, moved on to bench. Now, the bench felt kind of heavy, not gonna lie. Benching, it felt kind of heavy. I'm not really new to that. Like, sometimes when I go into sessions, like it will feel kind of heavy in my hands, whatever, right? Like, sometimes I can end up just loading it the fuck up, but this time round, it felt really heavy. Now, the bench that I was benching on in competition, it felt like I was lying on a plank of wood. I don't really have like a specialist setup by any means. Like, if you've watched my other videos, you know what my issue is with some of the benches that I use, but I'm very much just like, yo, if I can do it there, I can do it here. So got on the bench, warming up. Warm-ups felt good. I think my last warm-up, it felt okay, but I've definitely hit, I think my last warm-up was 87.5. I've definitely hit 87.5 faster, but I was like, you know what, we'll see what we got to do. Yeah, hit my opener, 92.5, felt heavy. I thought to myself, oh no, okay, let's move on. I said, you know what, do a 5 kilo jump. Let's do 97.5, because even if that moves shit, I know I've got 97.5. Like, I could do that with my eyes closed. Moved quite slow. Did the old one arm before the other. And then it was when I was setting up, mostly for my second attempt, that my feet were really slipping. So I usually bench in heels, or at least Olympic weightlifting shoes. It felt very slippy. The platform carpet felt very slippy. Now, sometimes it is just the sole of your shoes on the carpet, because when you're competing, you have to compete on a carpet, or at least in IPF comps, you compete on a carpet. So I was like, you know what? It was feeling fucking heavy anyway. So to give myself the best chance possible, I'm going to change my shoes. So changed it last minute to my Vans, which I wear when I squat. Definitely felt way grippier on the carpet, but 100 was not to happen. 100 did not happen. I mean, I gave it a good stab, but I'm not too upset by that because, I mean, I tried my best. That's all we can do, right? Had to try my best. But I was happy that my feet at least didn't slip, because I think sometimes in competitions, it can be really frustrating when you go in for a lift and you can't tell whether it was your inability or something else that had an impact on that, right? Which at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it is. A failed lift is a failed lift and a made lift is a made lift. But at the same time, I think I felt good knowing that, okay, you know what, it just wasn't there. It wasn't because your feet slipped. It wasn't because of like any other thing. It was just not to happen on the day, which I can sit happy with that. Like, I'll get it again at some point. So I'm not sure how well you can hear me, but squats are all done, bench is all done. We are on to deadlifts. Squats felt okay, bench kind of felt heavy, so we move. But yeah, no, everything's been going well. Feel good. I can't believe I weighed in at 61.9. Very light, very skinny legend. But yeah, we're warming up for deadlifts now. It's gonna be fun. Deadlifts, that's like, I'm not gonna say it's like my lift, because actually my squats have been picking up nicely, but I'm a deadlifter, I'm a puller. You go pulls to get anywhere, right? This was going to be my chance to pull for first place, because the first place girlie, big squatter, very big squatter, big bencher as well, but not as big of a deadlifter as moi. So this was my chance to pull for the win. Opener, 192.5, moved well, moved great. A little bit slower than I wanted. You can see what's happening here. A little bit slower than I wanted, but once again, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I've had slow deadlifts before in training. I've had slow lifts before in training, and I've still really like pulled it out, you know? So second attempt, 205, moved good. I've definitely moved 205 better. So it was at that point where my handler looked at me and he was like, look, we're in a position to pull for the win. What are we doing, Suzanne? So I said, load it the fuck up. Load it the fuck up and I'll see what I can do. If first place girlie made her third attempt, it would have meant that I would have to load like 223 or 225. I can't remember specifically. Now, I'll pull that one day, but I don't have that in me just yet. Maybe on a deadlift bar, but not just yet. Definitely not on comp day, definitely not on that day. But she failed her third attempt, so it meant that I only needed to load 213. Now I say I only needed to load 213. I knew it in my bones. On a cellular level, I knew it's gonna be a hard pull. It's gonna be a hard pull, because that 205 did not move the way that I wanted it to. So, you know, my handler was looking at me like, we're gonna load it. I said, we're gonna fucking load it, and I'll give it a go. Gave it a go, I did, and it felt really heavy. Now, I think upon like reflecting and reviewing the lift, I do think that it was just a touch too heavy on the day, but I can definitely see where some of the imbalances that I'm still currently working on, re-glute, re-quad. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch some of my other videos. I reference it in some of my other videos. I could definitely see where those imbalances really started to come into play. Like, I could see my hips twisting. I could see me shifting onto my stronger leg. Like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I would much rather, like a similar line of thinking with my bench, I would much rather me know that it was down to my inability to lift something, as opposed to like a misload or a ton of talc on the bar. Like, it was none of those things. It was purely down to, it was too much on the day, which I think sometimes is a bitter pill to swallow for some athletes. But when you've been on the receiving end of like a misload, or you've been on the receiving end of like a real, like for instance, like the slippy carpet, it can be truly frustrating, because you can feel like, well, I don't know what could have happened if I made that. Whereas, yeah, knowing that, you know, it was a little bit too much on the day, makes me feel at peace with the fact that I really tried my hardest, right? So let's do a roundup of where I placed. So I came second place overall, which is what I was projected on. I ended up matching my best total. So if I got the other two lifts, I would have added more to my total, but still, look, that is the nature of internationals. You got to load whatever number is going to get the athlete to the highest position so they can get as many points for the team. So happy with the fact that I matched the same total. Happy with the fact that I had the opportunity to load up those other lifts and really give it a good stab, even if I didn't make them. And yeah, so came second overall, came home with a silver bench medal, which I was not expecting a silver bench medal, and came away with gold on deadlift. So overall, not bad at all. So after the competition was done, we had to wait about 40 minutes for the bus to then take us back home, or take us back to the hotel. So I was tired, I was covered in wee because I weed myself on my last deadlift, and I just wanted a shower, and I wanted a drink. I wanted some pints, I wanted some shots. So went to the hotel, did those shenanigans, woke up the next day and was like, let's go explore Helsinki. So I did, and you know what, I'm gonna say this right now, and I mean this with peace and love. It felt like I was in London. It felt like London, but like everything was in Finnish. So yeah, I mean, the trains were really clean, like it was really, really easy to get into Helsinki, and overall, like, loved it. Once again, Finnish food, holy shit. I can't pronounce any of the dishes, nor am I gonna try, but I had I think it's a salmon soup with like rye bread. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, like delicioso. So after that, spent the day in Helsinki, flight back home. My flight got delayed by like 2 hours, so you can imagine how tired I was. Arrived back home, and here I am, back. I haven't trained all week, I've been chilling. So what's next, might you ask? What is next? What comes up next, Suzanne? Well, Nationals is in, as of this week, it's 12 weeks, but Nationals, I'm technically 11 weeks out. So we run it back. We're doing it all again. We're doing it all again with a couple of tweaks and changes regarding squats and bench. But yeah, basically should be fun. So that is what I'm doing. But that is my competition recap. So had a good time. Came home with some medals. Let me see if I can get the medals. Believe it or not, I've already put my medals in the cupboard. I never really put my shit out on view. Because I don't really have a good place for them to go, and then I find it really depressing when they're just like sitting out collecting dust. Like I feel like, you know, in like sports films when it's like, oh, the crusty dusty gym teacher who's like, yeah, back in my day I did all these amazing things. It just gives that. So I put it away in my cupboard. I'm gonna get them. First we have the participation medal, which, I mean, take that for what it is. Oh God. Then we have silver bench, which I'm honestly really surprised about. So here's the bench medal, and the other side. Good stuff. Here is the deadlift medal. Little gold moment. 2025. Good stuff. And then the overall silver medal goes to moi. So I think these look really, I mean, this overall one looks really, really cool. There it all is. Ching, ching, ching. Cha-ching, cha-ching. But yeah, that is this video. So thank you for watching. Thank you for following along. Thank you for coming along for my training videos. I will be doing more of them as well, obviously, because we're going to be gearing up to do nationals. And yeah, basically it's the never-ending pursuit of just getting stronger. Squat, bench and deadlift, one day at a time. But I start my new block next week, so I'm going to chill for the rest of this week. And by the rest, I mean it's Friday the 19th while I'm recording this, so I really don't have much longer to chill. Like, I'm going to have to crack on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, those things that I feel like I have to say, but if I'm being honest, I don't really. People say, oh, it really helps out the channel, but I don't know. Does it? I guess it does. I'm going to say it because I hear other people say it. But anyway, thank you for watching. I will be carrying on with my training, so tune in for the next one.